Coming up on Phillies Nation, presented by BQ Basement Systems, Pat and Corey discuss the Phillies' hot streak against teams in the hunt for the postseason. Ian is back with the Phillies' great Curt Simmons. The guys catch up with ESPN's Jayson Stark. Tommy Greene joins us on the mound. Plus, I've got the batter's inbox questions. Stay put, Phillies Nation starts now.
What's going on, everyone? It is Phillies Nation presented by BQ Basement Systems. He's Corey Simon, I am Pat Gallen, and we are here at the Fieldhouse Sports and Beer Hall. It might be football season, Corey, but baseball's still going on. And if you've been paying attention, you know that the Phillies are actually pretty red hot as of late, and they've beaten up on some pretty good teams, some teams in the playoff chase. The Washington Nationals, the St. Louis Cardinals, the Seattle Mariners. How have they done it? Why all of a sudden?
Well, it's a pretty surprising development that after 6 months, the Phillies have finally put together their first multi-week run of success. I mean, you look at their last 18 games, 12-6 over that span with 5 series wins in 6 tries. The one series loss, of course, being the one at Citi Field against a Mets team that, for whatever reason, the Phillies have struggled against for 3 seasons. But as you mentioned, the Nationals, the Cardinals, the Mariners, the Braves, the Phillies won 11 of 15 games against all 4 of those teams who were battling hard to make it to October. So very positive signs, and I think unlike in 2012, when the Phillies had that 4 or 5 week good run at the end of the season, narrowly missed the playoffs, went 81-81. This has some signs of lasting power, okay? Because it's been mostly keyed by the bullpen. And whereas in 2012 it was keyed by unsustainable success from Jeremy Horst and Raul Valdez, right now you're seeing the dominance from Ken Giles and Jake Diekman, guys who have legitimate put-away stuff. And I thought it was very interesting that over the weekend, Bryce Harper was very effusive in his praise of the Phillies bullpen, citing Diekman, citing Giles, even mentioning Justin DeFreitas, a guy throwing in the mid to high 90s in the middle innings of a game. So other teams are impressed by what the Phillies are doing right now, and I think it's legit.
Now, there's one playoff team or team that has playoff aspirations. Looks like they're going to run away with the AL East. That's the Baltimore Orioles, that have built their team in the way that maybe the Phillies are going to try to do that, and that's with a good bullpen first and then through the offense. Now, the Orioles bullpen, their numbers have been outstanding over the last few years. A 3.24 ERA so far this year through Sunday, 3.52 last year, and a 3 ERA out of the bullpen in 2012. And the offense is caught up. Nelson Cruz having an incredible year. Adam Jones is a star. Maybe they should try and build it the way the Orioles have.
Well, look, you know, it's difficult to win without starting pitching, but the Orioles have done it. The Orioles have a very middling starting rotation. I don't know who the number 1 in that rotation is. It's a collection of number 3 starters. But what they've shown this year is that with offense and with bullpen, you can offset the weakness of starting pitching. The last couple years, the last 5 years, the Phillies have spent a bulk of their payroll on starting pitching. And when you look at the scope of this offseason, the Phillies are going to go into it with Cole Hamels and very little else. You know, very little else confirmed for that 2015 rotation. So the clear strength of this team right now is the bullpen. Okay, so when I look at it, I would build from the back end out. I would build around Diekman, Giles, and Jonathan Papelbon. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, that 3-headed monster. But the clear thing is they need to upgrade offensively. Okay, and when you look at what positions they could do that at, left field sticks out, third base sticks out. I mean, I know you have a young guy in Cody Ashley, another young guy in Maikel Franco, but there really aren't too many other positions that you desperately need an offensive upgrade. There's Ryan Howard as well, who is nearing that 100 RBI mark, but the production really hasn't been there from a batting average or on base standpoint. So offensively, the Phillies need another key piece in the middle of the lineup, but with that bullpen, they could make a run next year.
All right, there's no doubt they need help on offense, but are you saying let's not go crazy with starting pitching? Because they'll have Cole, and they'll likely have Cliff Lee if the arm is healthy when he comes back next season. Do they just throw in a bunch of, one-year guys? I mean, what should it be with the rotation then?
Well, it should be a series of short-term deals. I mean, you look at the free agent class, you have Max Scherzer, John Lester, and James Shields. Those guys are going to get
$100 million
plus.
plus.
$100 million plus. Okay, so the Phillies should not be playing in that market whatsoever. Then there's the second tier, which to me is highlighted by Brandon McCarthy, who's been lights out since going to the Yankees. He's another guy I expect to get like a 4-year deal. I don't think the Phillies should be doing that either. I think that they should be going after some high-risk, some low-risk, high-reward candidates, and then fill out, maybe sign a Chad Billingsley, a guy who's been hurt but could give you some upside there, could give you 200 innings if he stays healthy. I think the main thing, though, is that you shouldn't go and spend like crazy with starting pitching, because with the way that offense has declined overall, I think we're seeing in today's game that you can win without elite starting pitching.
All right, so you can win without starting pitching, but the offense, they've played well recently, but quickly. I mean, this is just a small stretch of the season. They really didn't play well in the first half of the year. Can you trust it?
Well, I mean, like I said, I think this has been keyed more so by the bullpen. The offense has executed in key situations, and that has led to some wins here. But no, you can't look at this 2-week stretch, this 18 to 20 game stretch, and get fooled, because that's what's gotten the Phillies into trouble the last couple seasons. Your strong end of year pushes, and this offense as presently constituted is not going to win. The Phillies need to add an impact bat, a guy like Yasmani Tomas, maybe the Cuban left fielder, because this offense isn't going to get it done.
All right, let's catch up again with Curt Simmons. He's with Ian Riccaboni, Part 4 with the Phillies great.
So you missed the entire 1951 season, but were able to come back in 1952 and have one of the best seasons of your career statistically. How rewarding was that?
Well, 52, I came back. I came back opening day, no spring training.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Germany, and some guy from PR, public relations guy from Washington, called me and said, "Could you be at the show? Gimbel's brothers had a show, TV show or something in those days, opening day or something." I said, "No, I got orders to go on a boat, get going home." And I said, "The only way I can go is if I fly." Well, 2 days later, they said, "Report to Frankfurt," and I got to fly home. So that's how I got there opening day. And all my buddies were a little jealous because I didn't have to ride the bumpy ship going back home.
Through the 50s, you faced a lot of great Hall of Fame players. Willie Mays, Jackie Robinson. Could you walk us through maybe preparing for someone of Willie Mays' caliber, or preparing for someone of Hank Aaron's caliber?
I remember 52. I was starting the All-Star game in Philadelphia, and I got to the park. I thought pretty early, but I was late. They were having a meeting going over the hitters, and Leo DeRoche, the manager, he said, "Simmons, where the hell you been?" He says, they were going over there. He said, "Get the ball over the plate," So I pitched 3 innings and I shut him out and whatever. That's what used to happen in those days.
You were inducted to the Phillies Wall of Fame, and Phillies Nation named you the 17th greatest Philly of all time. So you're constantly in the mind and the consciousness of current Phillies fans. If there's anything you could say to some of those Phillies fans, for the support over the years, what might it be?
Well, first of all, most of the Philly fans that remember me aren't around anymore. A lot of them. But it's great. I don't know how I was rated that high, because they had some good players, and especially after that on that team. But it's nice to be remembered. Occasionally I meet some old guy and they say, "Hey, you're Simmons, aren't you?" "Yeah, I remember you." So it's nice to be remembered.
Our customers tell us it's important that they know who they're doing business with. Basement foundation issues are never fun, and finding a contractor that you can trust can be hard. That's why I founded BQ Basement Systems in 1997. We're the experts in identifying and fixing problems in your basement, your crawl space, foundation repairs, and all things basementing. Have one of our certified inspectors out for your free evaluation and estimate. Visit us at bqbasementsystems.com or call us at 1-800-339-2070.
Live sports, craft beer, great food, good times. What more do you need? Every day is a party at Fieldhouse Sports and Beer Hall, the largest sports bar in Center City. Come to 11th and Filbert to see what you've been missing.
We're very excited to implement a program called 8 Weeks to Wellness. At Summit Spine and Wellness, we combine chiropractic care, massage therapy, customized nutrition, personal training, and meditation. If you want to improve your health, take the 8 Week to Wellness Challenge like Dan, who lost 32 pounds, 6 inches off his waist, and 94 points off his cholesterol. We use a customized wellness score to measure your health and develop a diet and fitness plan just for you. Call our office at 215-487-2500 and ask about getting set up for your wellness score.
In a world where bankers have lost all interest, where robots and fat cats rule our fortunes, one woman will stand up and strive to do the impossible. Be treated like a person. Friends and neighbors will join her quest. Ordinary people will band together against the forces of corporate greed. And together they will form Philadelphia Federal Credit Union, already in a neighborhood near you.
Pat Gallen here with you on Phillies Nation, joined by the one and only Jayson Stark of ESPN.com. He's got a new book out. It's called Wild Pitches, Rumblings, Grumblings, and Reflections on the Game I Love. It's an excellent, excellent read. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
I appreciate you asking me.
Well, one of my favorite parts of this book is, and you have a lot of Phillies-centric stuff in this book, is a game that I was at. It's the Game 4, Jimmy Rollins off Jonathan Broxton. You go in detail in this book about that game, and I remember being there and how insane, and it was the loudest place I think that I've ever been in. It felt like Citizens Bank Park was shaking, and I got to reread that and kind of feel all the emotions I felt back then.
Yeah, that was an amazing night and an amazing moment, because baseball games in October don't usually end that way, even if Jonathan Broxton's pitching, right? And you know, there's that moment where the baseball is just kind of flying out to that open space in right center field, and your mind says, wait a second, the Phillies are going to win this game. How can this be? Right. And I mean, that kind of moment is like a Kirk Gibson moment. Now, the ball didn't leave the park, but when you think about ninth inning, game-winning, extra base hits in October, where a team that's about to lose suddenly is walking off and winning, that's what that moment was. And we haven't seen a lot of them around here. There was one, Joe Carter, that went the other way. Sure. But I mean, that moment will always be special. Doing all my book signings, people talk about it all the time.
It was just amazing to be in the building, and people that I didn't know were jumping all over me, and it was an insane moment. But a lot of great Philly stuff just like that in this book. But there's also a lot of great national stuff, a lot of great national stories. The Josh Hamilton story is a great one. There's some other stuff in there as well.
Yeah, you know, this book really gave me a chance to go back through a lot of the stuff I've written about since I've been at ESPN, which is since 2000, and assemble kind of my greatest hits collection. And you know, I love history. There's a lot of great looks at all facets of baseball history. There's a lot of stuff to debate with your friends. Sure. You know how much I love that. I love October, a lot of my favorite October moments and champions. And there's stuff in here that is just designed to make you laugh, Pat. Yep. Maybe my favorite chapter is the last chapter. It's the strange but true feats of the millennium. You know, I do this piece every year, round up the stuff that happened during the season that can't possibly happen because it's impossible, except it happened. There's a whole chapter full of these, and I round up a whole millennium's worth. And the story that people seem to love, I'm going to tell it now, is the story of Benji Molina. We should mention Benji Molina, the slowest man
stolen base
in
artist.
the history of baseball, right? And Benji Molina did something that can't possibly be done. He hit a home run, and he did not score a run on his own homer.
How is that possible?
How is that possible, you ask?
Yeah.
Oh, you just asked. I will tell you how it's possible. All right, this happened in 2008. Benji Molina was playing for the Giants then. They're playing in AT&T Park. He hit a ball off the top of the wall in left field, bounced back in, and because he's Benji Molina, where do you think he ended up? First base, of course, right? So he pulls into first base. Bruce Bochy does what he always does. Late in the game, he sends in a pinch runner. So out comes Emmanuel Burris to pinch run. In comes Benji Molina. His day is done. Except Omar Vizquel, who was on that team then, walks up to Bruce Bochy and he says, you know what? I think that ball actually went over the wall. I think it hit something on the other side of the wall and then bounced back in. If I were you, I'd ask the umpires to take another look at it. So out comes Bruce Bochy, talks to the umpires. The umpires go and review this play. They come back and they say, home run.
He's not there.
Right, so Benji Molina puts his helmet back on, starts trotting at the first base, and the umpires tell him, not so fast. You're out of the game. You cannot come back into the game. So because of that, Emmanuel Burris had to complete this home run trot on a home run he never even hit. Now here is the best part of this. This is impossible. And the true test of how impossible it is that the computers do not believe it happened. Go to baseballreference.com and look up this home run, and you'll find that the box score says Benji Molina scored the home run. And why is that? Because Sean Foreman of Baseball Reference told me they've been trying for 8 years to program their computer to believe that a guy could hit a home run but not score a run on his own homer. The computer doesn't believe it, so they had to settle for just a little note at the bottom that says, our box score is wrong. He didn't score the run.
I'll venture to say there's a lot more where that came from in this book, Wild Pitches.
Yes.
Jayson, we appreciate the time. Go out and get the book.
Pat, thanks.
Thank you, Jayson. Obviously a pleasure to have Jayson Stark here for a few episodes on Phillies Nation. Jimmy Rollins, though, quickly, what is his future with the Philadelphia Phillies? He's staying here definitely, right?
Well, I mean, the option vested for next season, so yeah, it seems like he will be here. That Jimmy Rollins contract, I think, was 3 years, $33 million at the time of the signing. He's really performed up to the level of that contract. You look at the numbers here. Yes, Jimmy's hitting just .243 through Sunday, but he has a .323 on base percentage, 80 points higher. That's 6th among Major League shortstops, 4th in homers, 2nd in runs, 1st in steals. I think he's also 1st in fielding percentage. He could legitimately win a Gold Glove. It's probably going to go to Andrelton Simmons, but Jimmy's still an elite defender. I mean, I think he still has a couple more years left.
He did mention that batting average. It does stand out, .243, but he's having a pretty good year overall, and he is living up to that contract. Let's go to By the Numbers. It's brought to you by BQ Basement Systems. Call them today. They'll give you a free estimate on your house, and they have flexible payment options. Since July 31st, Ben Revere has been red hot. .347, and he's got a Fangraphs WAR of 1.9, though, which is kind of low. That's 52nd in the Major League, so he might win a batting title, but the WAR is not high.
Well, it's funny because over his last 65 games, he's averaging literally 1.5 hits per game. Ben Revere, this has been a great sign the second half of the season, and anybody who had doubts that he might be in the Phillies' future plans, he is here to stay.
All right, how about Ryan Howard, though? On pace for 105 RBI through Sunday, but has a negative WAR. Since 2000, only 2 players have done that. You've got Tony Batista in 2000. He had 110 RBI and a negative .2 WAR, and then Adam Dunn, of course, in 2004, 105 runs batted in and a negative 0.4 WAR.
Good stuff, Pat. I have 2 by the numbers here. Victor Martinez is the only player in all of baseball through Sunday who had an on-base percentage of 400 or higher. The game
doesn't seem like a lot.
The game has really changed. I mean, last year, I think there were 7 guys who had an OBP of 400 or higher. Right now, you only have 5 guys above 390, only 20 over 370. So it's just staggering how much offense has declined.
Hitting is not
here in recent years. The other one, and this deals with strikeout to walks. Phil Hughes, Minnesota Twins, signed into that 3-year deal. Some people looked at it questionably. I mean, he hasn't performed in recent years. Through 29 starts, 165 strikeouts and 15 walks. That's 11 strikeouts per walk, okay? That would be the highest strikeout to walk ratio in the history of baseball.
It's like Maddox type numbers.
The previous season high for anybody with that many starts was Curt Schilling, 9.58 in 2002. So Phil Hughes about to set some history.
Phillies need to cash in on a guy sort of like
Yes,
Phil Hughes,
exactly.
a 2-year or 1-year deal, and they get lucky. Let's go to our fantasy baseball segment brought to you by DraftKings.com. It's fantasy football season, but we're still talking about fantasy baseball, and you just missed out on this guy in your league, didn't you?
I did.
You're upset.
Mookie Betts, he's eligible at shortstop, center field, and right field, hitting .345 over the last 2 weeks with some homers, some steals, some doubles, some runs. He's leading off for the Red Sox, playing every day. Playoff push, pick up Mookie Betts.
How about you pick up Adam Dunn as well? He seems to be sitting out there in a lot of leagues, and of course, he's going to strike out a ton, but he's going to walk a lot, and he's going to hit a lot of home runs. Now, he does play in a spacious ballpark out in Oakland now that he's been traded, but Adam Dunn, if you need a little bit of power off your bench, you could do a lot worse than Adam Dunn. That's Fantasy Baseball brought to you by DraftKings.com. We're coming right back. Don't go anywhere. It's Pat and Corey here on Phillies Nation.
Travel is not the exciting adventure it used to be. I still love the destination, yet getting there can be a hassle unless you travel like the pros. Major League Vacations offers exciting personal or group travel options to your team's away game or your favorite vacation destinations. MLV does all the legwork. You focus on the experience. For more than 20 years, MLV has been a trusted partner to thousands of people just like you. Visit MLV.com and make travel exciting again, or call 800-222-6256. Tell them Ricky Bo sent you.
Our customers tell us it's important that they know who they're doing business with. Basement foundation issues are never fun, and finding a contractor that you can trust can be hard. That's why I founded BQ Basement Systems in 1997. We're the experts in identifying and fixing problems in your basement, your crawl space, foundation repairs, and all things basementing. Have one of our certified inspectors out for your free evaluation and estimate. Visit us at bqbasementsystems.com or call us at 1-800-339-2070.
We're very excited to implement a program called 8 Weeks to Wellness. At Summit Spine and Wellness, we combine chiropractic care, massage therapy, customized nutrition, personal training, and meditation. If you want to improve your health, take the 8 Week to Wellness challenge like Dan, who lost 32 pounds, 6 inches off his waist, and 94 points off his cholesterol. We use a customized wellness score to measure your health and develop a diet and fitness plan just for you. Call our office at 215-487-2500 and ask about getting set up for your wellness score.
Welcome back to Phillies Nation. I'm Ryan Williams and I'm here with Pat and Corey. And it's time for our Batters Inbox questions. For the guys debate your question and I'll pick the winner. Who's ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready to get back in the win column.
Yeah,
see.
who's winning, huh? This guy.
Well, our first question. Should Ken Giles be the closer of the Phillies in 2015? Pat?
I think he should be. I think that they should look to move Jonathan Papelbon this offseason. Look, make no mistake, Papelbon has had an incredible year, but I think it's time to move on. And what have the Phillies been talking about all season? Mixing things up, changing things, and you can do that with Jonathan Papelbon, giving it to Ken Giles to see if he's ready for this type of situation. So my thought is move on from Papelbon, see what you can get for him, see if he wants to go to a contending team, maybe not be a closer, because that's been part of the problem with trying to unload him, is that he definitely wants to be in the ninth inning, and there aren't a lot of teams that are in it right now that need that sort of pitcher, but in the offseason that might change. Move Papelbon, put Kenny Giles in there, and you're ready to go for the long term.
I completely disagree. I think that Jonathan Papelbon should be in the Phillies' plans next season because if it's not broke, why fix it? The bullpen is clearly the strength of this team. Jonathan Papelbon has a 1.64 ERA. With the Phillies in his career, he has the same exact ERA that he had with the Red Sox in those 7 years. And yes, okay, maybe the strikeouts are slightly down, but he's still striking out nearly a batter per inning, inducing a lot of weak contact. I don't see why you would trade Jonathan Papelbon for anything less than 100 cents on the dollar with the way that he's pitched. If a team comes to you, if the Tigers come to you and say, look, we really need a closer, we'll give you a good prospect, maybe then you consider it. But other than that, I'm keeping Jonathan Papelbon. I'm keeping an elite bullpen.
I like your answer and I agree that change is in the picture, but I'm going to have to go with Corey on this one. It's not broken, don't fix it.
Good call, Ryan.
Our next question comes from a Phillies fan.
Hey guys, I'm here with Emily from Ballackinwood, and Emily wants to know, who should be the rookies of the year?
Well, I mean, the AL's not really a debate. It's Jose Abreu. The guy's been one of the best hitters in baseball. He's hitting something like 500 over the last month, and the power, the extra base hits, the batting average, too. I think that's been the most surprising thing. The guy's hitting like 320. Yeah. In the NL, I don't know. There's a couple different ways you could go. I'm going with Jacob deGrom, the Mets starting pitcher. The Phillies have seen him a couple times. He's really dominated the Phillies in the few times he's seen him. Struck out 11 batters in their first meeting, but he has an ERA in the high twos. Okay, he's been pitching very well. He looks like a guy who could stick in that strong Mets rotation. Not really on their radar up until this year, but he's impressed with his pitch repertoire.
I will go with Jose Abreu in the American League as well. There's really no debate there. Although if Masahiro Tanaka had not gotten hurt, he would definitely be. It would have been a two-horse race.
It would have been a classic race for Rookie of the Year.
It really would have been a good race. In the National League, I'm going to go with Billy Hamilton of the Cincinnati Reds. 55 steals through Sunday. His on-base percentage leaves a lot to be desired. He's going to have to become a better hitter, but once he gets on base, it's basically a double. So I'm going Billy Hamilton. I love the speed.
Dude's also been caught 21 times, though. You got to
He'll figure it out. He'll figure it out.
Well, you're getting back in the lead now.
Wow,
two in a row.
2 in a row.
Let's make it 3.
That's all right.
Let's make it 3.
Our last question. What percentage chance is that Ryan Howard is back with the Phillies next year? Corey?
92.25%.
That's interesting.
No, I mean, that contract is untradeable. You're not going to trade that to anybody unless maybe if Ryan Howard finishes like 105 RBIs with a 240 batting average, maybe the Phillies can sell that to an AL team. But these other teams are going to look at the RBI total and realize it's kind of deceiving.
Yeah.
And you know, he has to be in the Phillies' future plans, maybe as a platoon guy. I don't know. Ruben Amaro has said in recent weeks that changes are going to be coming this offseason. I would assume one of those changes is playing Ryan Howard less against lefties, but other than that, I don't think he's going to be dealt.
I'm going to set the bar a little lower. I'll say 75% because, as you said, change is absolutely needed. And if Ryan Howard is still on the roster, you're always going to feel like he needs to be in the middle of that order. He's got to bat 4th or he's got to bat 5th. You can never bat Ryan Howard 7th. So I don't necessarily think they would be able to trade him, as you said, because he's just not worth anything to a lot of teams out there. And there were American League teams that probably wanted him, but if the Phillies were going to pick up the entire contract, okay, maybe. That didn't seem to be the case, though. So I'll say 75% because if they're really thinking about, thinking outside the box, then maybe you just have to move on from him.
Well, see, that's the thing. I think that has to be the compromise. If Ryan Howard is back, you got to bat him 6th. You can't keep batting him 4th.
Might be tough to do. Easier said.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to get a point this
All
week.
right, I feel like you just gave me that.
Ties it up?
For the season, yeah, for the season.
Well, that wraps up our Batters Inbox questions for this week. Have a question? Leave it for us on our Facebook and Twitter page. More Phillies news is coming right up. Philly has has a long sports history filled with great players and moments. Shibe Vintage Sports in Center City relives the glory years with fashionable attire for all your favorite teams. Separate yourself from the crowd with the hippest Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, and Sixers gear. Pick up some unique shirts featuring local teams of yesteryear, or come to fun events where you can learn about your favorite teams. So if you're a sports fan, then you need to check out Shibe Vintage Sports. Visit them at 13th and Walnut or shibesports.com.
In a world where bankers have lost all interest, where robots and fat cats rule our fortunes, one woman will stand up and strive to do the impossible. Be treated like a person. Friends and neighbors will join her quest. Ordinary people will band together against the forces of corporate greed. And together they will form Philadelphia Federal Credit Union, already in a neighborhood near you.
Our customers tell us it's important that they know who they're doing business with. Basement foundation issues are never fun, and finding a contractor that you can trust can be hard. That's why I founded BQ Basement Systems in 1997. We're the experts in identifying and fixing problems in your basement, your crawl space, foundation repairs, and all things basementing. Have one of our certified inspectors out for your free evaluation and estimate. Visit us at bqbasementsystems.com or call us at 1-800-339-2070.
At Village Catering, we're committed to making your event one to remember. We are family owned and operated, and for more than 30 years, we've made our mark on Philadelphia as a go-to caterer for all of your special events. We're also the official caterer of the Flyers and Soul and the preferred caterer of Temple Athletics. We'll work with you at customizing your off-site event, or you can have your event at our on-site facility, the Cottage Greene, so that you'll feel like a guest at your own party. Contact us at 215-698-1117 or villagecatering.com, and we'll help you make a memory today.
Hi, I'm Tommy Greene. Today we're going to talk about the 1993 playoffs and in respect of what I thought about the 93 playoffs and what I did. I didn't really change the way I went about business every day. As far as, did I study guys any different? No, because we'd faced the Braves so much. We knew it, and I'd pitched against them a couple times right there at the end of the season. I'm going to stick with my strengths and do my thing. And we learned each time, with hitters and what we're going to try to do. Did I change anything? Was I nervous or purposely change anything? I didn't purposely change anything, no. Yeah, I was nervous. It took a little bit, to get through that first inning, each time out. And once we do throw that first strike and get that first batter out, it does make a difference. That's when I calmed down. It was a very important time in my life. I wouldn't have changed a thing, because I think everybody as a pitcher goes through that, and some hide it better than others. But I would love to go through it again, but I know I can't. I'm too old for that. But that's some of the feelings I had when I pitched.
Thank you, Tommy. Good stuff from Tommy Greene, as always. Let's go to our Twitter trivia, brought to you by Shibe Vintage Sports. Check out the Phillies gear, shibesports.com. Use the code Phillies Nation, where you can save 20%. So this week's question is this. Ben Revere, 1 point behind the National League leader, Justin Morneau, in batting average. So he's in it in the race for the title. His .315 average would be the lowest by an NL champion since who did it and when? It's been a long, long time.
Yeah, I know the answer. It's not exactly what you might think for that answer, but it's a good question.
That's a great hint. Let's do some thank yous. Thank you to 2020 behind the camera. Thank you, Brian Michael, Tommy Greene, Jayson Stark, the entire crew. For Corey, I'm Pat. That's it for Phillies Nation. We'll talk to you soon.